When it comes to old school beat 'em up brawlers, what's the first game that comes to mind? No, okay, what's the second game that comes to mind? Really? No, I'm talking about Streets of Rage. Now, we have had some smaller beat 'em up brawlers come out in the past few years, but with their advancements, can the old school Streets of Rage really compete? Well, let's get rid of our nostalgia glasses and find out. Now, the first Streets of Rage was released in 1991. Now, first thing we see is that, graphically speaking, this game holds up very well with the environments and the character sprites, almost meeting up to what we see in modern day standards. Although, admittedly, the animations are a bit stiff and lacks frames. But I think the biggest downfall we have here is 1, the characters move very slow, and 2, while each character does have their own moveset and statistics, so they feel a bit differently, their movesets are pretty limited. Now, if you decide to go back and play this game now, there is something you need to know about games back in the day. There is friendly fire. Now, I know some modern day beat 'em up games might have friendly fire, not many, but this, well, I don't know if it's a positive or a negative with this game really. It's just something that you gotta watch out for, might be fun, or might be really frustrating.
Oh, I'm the blonde guy. You're okay, action. You walked into my fist.
You
okay,
hit me.
You walked into my fist.
Get my chancleta. I'm sorry. I had no idea what I did though.
Oh, right. And let's not forget about the good old-fashioned screen clear ability, which each character has at least one use, sometimes two if you're able to find a special item to do it multiple times. Now we do get a fairly decent amount of variety with the enemy design and the level design, although later on you're going to see a lot of the same enemies with just slightly different colors, indicating that they're a little bit tougher. But that's fairly commonplace when it comes to beat 'em up brawlers. But now, let's talk about the difficulty. This is a fairly tough game, and as you can see, I've been playing co-op, and that's my mother up there. She was visiting and she really wanted to play. And while it's more fun playing in co-op, I wouldn't really say it's easier. Well, for one, like I said, you have friendly fire, and 2, they double the amount of enemies, including doubling up them bosses. And like most old school beat 'em up games, many bosses become regular enemies as the game goes on. But what I think is one of the more frustrating parts about this game is that there are some enemies who have moves that are nearly impossible to avoid. That being said, you do have limited lives and continues in this game. But, just like many old games, this does have one special feature, and that's cheat codes. So even if you're having a tough time, you could use cheat codes to just skip levels if you really want to get through it fast. Now, with all that said, how does this compare to modern day games? Well, the combat feels pretty basic compared to what we have now. Music is great, especially if you love the 90s, and graphically, it still works. But, with all the advancements and the upgrades we've had over the past few, well, decades at this point, this game still works, but it really isn't anything special. It did really set up the standard for beat 'em up games, but that's what this game feels like nowadays. Pretty standard. It is fun, but now that we're going to rank it, I think I'm just going to put it, it's fine, but it's not anything special. And now, releasing 1 year after, we have Streets of Rage 2. Now, at first glance, it looks like it's just Streets of Rage 1 all over again, but the animations are a little bit smoother. They sped it up just a tiny bit. We do have extra characters this time around, each with their own statistics, so they all feel different. But one of the biggest changes, and I think biggest advantages in my opinion, is they got rid of the car screen clear ability, and each character has their own special move. Now this is the kind of special move that drains your health when you hit an enemy with it, but it's not just one special move. Depending on how you're moving your character and special button combinations, your special move could change. Not only that, they also gave you a bigger moveset for each character. It's not as simple and basic as the first game was. And beside all that, to be honest, there's not much more to say about this game in differences to the Streets of Rage 1. The difficulty is still there, you still got that friendly fire, and the game feels, well, just a step above standard. Still, doesn't really have that specialness that we would expect from a modern day game. But at the same time, it doesn't really do anything bad either. If anything, it's Streets of Rage 1, but a little bit better. If I were to rate it, I think I'll give it a similar rating to Streets of Rage 1. It's fine, but still, it's nothing special. Yet. Now finally we're here with our final retro Streets of Rage game, Streets of Rage 3, released in 1994, 2 years after Streets of Rage 2. But what did they change from Streets of Rage 2? When Streets of Rage 2 was a complete upgrade to Streets of Rage 1, Streets of Rage 3 takes that and multiplies it tenfold. Not only do we have new characters, we have unlockable new characters, we have more movesets we could run, the special moves have been expanded upon. Not only that, we have more of a story in this game compared to the other two. Additionally, we even have multiple endings based on what happens in the last 2 levels. Now what's the downside compared to the other two? This game is hard. Now I know the other 2 games are pretty tough, but no, this game is hard. And I don't mean in that, well, it's challenging kind of hard. No, I mean, it's cheap hard. Much of the late game is just a battle of attrition. They just throw wave after wave after wave of enemies, including large multiple of the same annoying enemies over and over again just to wear you down. Not only that, if you use the level select code to try to get to the end of the game, you can only get to the second to the last level. Meaning, even if you go at full lives, you're going through 2 of the toughest levels I have ever experienced in a beat-em-up game before. And when you're just fighting the same enemies, the same annoying enemies over and over and over again, and they just keep coming at you, it really does drain the excitement from it. But man, if you could stick it through and make it all the way to the end and finally beat that last boss, which I was like on my last pixel of health there. I needed to call in some extra help at the end, just to have a friend of mine, Celia, to jump in, just to help me out. It is so exhilarating. And I'll admit, I did get the bad ending. And I was trying. I even replayed that last stage, trying to get a better ending, but it is tough. So, with this game having multiple endings and doing far more than the other 2 games have, the only real downside is just the battle of attrition this game throws at you. But if that's something that doesn't bother you, and honestly, like, it only got to me at the end because I was trying to beat the game on my stream. If I was taking it more casually, it probably wouldn't have been too much of an issue. I think this game does rate up there far better than the first 2 games, and I think it aged great. This is a game that you could go back to, and it is just as fun, if not more fun, than any kind of beat-em-up game you can play now. Now, I wouldn't put it at the top of the list, so I'm just going to stick it right here. I think this is a fair spot for Streets of Rage 3. Now, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave me a comment, let me know. But right now, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And catch my streams on Choppy Crew Streams when I, stream these games before I review them. Till then, I'll see you next time on Did It Age Well?